Welcome to Trail Mix, a fresh blend of what's happening at Rowan-Cabarrus Community College and in the world of higher education. It's everything you need to keep you informed, inspired, and as always, navigating forward. Welcome to this episode of Trail Mix. I'm your host, Carter Wingfield, with our co-host, Tabs Harry. How's it going?
Hi. It's going great. I'm so excited to be on this particular episode.
Why is that?
Because the Bistro is my favorite place to eat all the time.
Yes.
I love going there.
We are talking about Beacon's Bistro and all the exciting news that we have about that coming up. I, too, am very excited about the Bistro. I feel like I was one of the first people to try humble brag, to try their food, as in when we started advertising, they had to cook up some foods for me to take pictures of. And I got to try some of their chicken tenders, their hamburgers, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I feel very special that I was one of the first.
You're like a celebrity to me now.
Pretty much. Yeah, for sure. So we have two guests with us here today to talk a little bit more about Beacon's Bistro and what's on the horizon. We have Jay Taylor and Stephanie Dunlap. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. My name is Jay Taylor. I'm the Executive Director of College and Career Readiness, which is a division within corporate and continuing education.
And I am Stephanie Dunlap, the food service instructor over the Bistro, and I'll be also over the one on North Campus.
All right, so yeah, the Bistro started in around 2022?
Yeah, like probably 2023, probably really got it started.
Okay. And Jay, how long have you been here?
August of 2011. So This will be my 15th year.
Nice. Very good. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Let's back up a second from talking about the Bistro. Let's identify a little bit about the foundation of what makes the Bistro what it is. We have a program here called the SOAR program. It's been around for a while. Jay, can you share a little bit about what the SOAR program is? Just a quick overview. And what does it stand for, and how does it reflect kind of the mission of the program?
Sure, be glad to. So quick overview, the SOAR program is in 2011, Rowan-Cabarrus Community College did not have a program to teach or address individuals with intellectual disabilities. So I was hired in 2011 to help to start that program. At the time, it was called compensatory education.
That's a mouthful.
Yes, compensatory education. So we started with 6 students, and we quickly grew into about 18 to 20 students.
Wow.
And then in 2013-14, legislation changed. And at the time when we started the SOAR program, compensatory education at the time, we could take all students. We could take you if you had an immeasurable IQ. We could take you if you were tube-fed, non-ambulatory, everything, you name it. And then legislation was passed and put in certain credentials and criteria that students had to have to get into the program. And so we rebranded, and we came up with myself and Mary Jane Hartley and Bridget Henderson, also known as Queen Bee, affectionately, got in a room, and we came up with an acronym of SOAR, and SOAR stands for Skills, Opportunity, Awareness, and Readiness. And the premise of the program is to help students self-advocate, become independent, get them ready for job and work-life ready skills, and to help them live as independently as possible. And then the program grew on the North and the South Campus to the point where we are now just under 100 students total in the SOAR program. So I think we have 55 or 56 at the South Campus and 33, 34 at the North Campus.
So there's definitely a huge need for it in the community.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's awesome.
In fact, we have a waiting list.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yes.
How does the SOAR program help support students when it comes to like building independence and confidence and like real world skills? Does it equip students with those types of skills?
It does. So we work a lot on social skills and work a lot with social awareness and understanding that because you have a disability, it doesn't discredit you from being a productive citizen within your community, within your group home, within the city and county that you reside. So we want to teach our students basic literacy skills. A lot of it is emerging reading skills, things like that. We teach them money skills, how to handle going to a doctor's office, interacting and self-advocating for themselves, because so often a lot of them will have a caregiver, a lot of them will have a parent, and as we tell the parents, we love you, but you're not going to be here forever. And one day they're going to be on their own. So we need to equip them to be on their own and to be as independent as possible. And what gives me great pride about the SOAR program is out of the great 58 community colleges, Rowan-Cabarrus Community College is one of the few that has a program that addresses adults with intellectual disabilities. So when my colleagues from around the state talk about being a community college, I always stop them and say, well, you are a community college, but you don't serve everyone in your community like we do.
Absolutely.
So, there are less than 10 community colleges that serve the IDD population.
Wow. That's so cool. SOAR is one of my favorite programs here. I just love getting to be involved in it in any way possible. SOAR Prom is an event that I look forward to so much every single year. It's like my greatest memories as student and as staff is being able to help with that particular event. So it's always so great.
Well, one of the biggest things I say why I love working with this population so much is the SOAR students show you every day how simple life can be if you'll let it be that simple, because we're the ones that complicate it. If you get out of the way, life is pretty simple. Just watch the SOAR students interact and get along with every day. Every need is provided for. They make it through their day just fine. We're the one that adds the worry and the anxiety into everything we do.
True. It's a good perspective. So let's transition back to Beacon's Bistro. We know that it is a place where people can go and then get food, breakfast, and lunch, given the name. But tell me how Beacon's Bistro came to fruition in 2023. What was that experience like?
Okay, yeah. So in 2022, I started, and there was basically nothing down there.
Bare bones.
It
was a full kitchen.
Yeah, it had all the main stuff, like your ovens and fryers and all that stuff. But as far as pots and pans and, any type of anything, it was nothing. Even the cooler was broken. So it took a long time to actually get that fixed. So once we got that fixed, we were moving forward, and we kind of went from there, and we just started with just breakfast. We selected, I think there was like 8 or 10 people in our first group, and we got them started, and we did a class. And in the class, we learned all the different skills, and then we would go down to the bistro before it was open, and we would practice those skills.
Your first group, you're talking about Beacon's Bistro became an opportunity for a cohort of SOAR students to kind of come in and run it.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was like 8 to 10 students. Some of them were past students and some of them were current students. They just, we all got together in a class. We had class for about an hour and a half a day. And then we would go down and we would either learn new cooking skills. Like I would teach them how to make simple things, like their favorite recipe was pizza toast. And they loved making pizza toast. And it's just a super simple recipe where you just take a piece of bread and you put it in the toaster. And then you take and you put some marinara sauce on it, a little bit of cheese and a couple pieces of pepperoni. You just pop it in the microwave, melts everything, and it's delicious. It's really easy. The students love it. It's just a great snack.
Quick snack.
I will be making this.
Yeah, I just wrote that recipe down real quick.
Yeah. But yeah, after that, we just started doing breakfast, and we would go around. We had to create business. We would have to actually go around and hand out free samples.
Off a food cart.
Yeah, off of like a little food cart. And we would go all around to the different offices and the students that would be walking by, handing out food, trying to get them to come in and eat. So we just kind of slowly built business, and then we added lunch and did the same thing.
So how did this idea come to fruition? Like, have y'all seen this done in other places before?
We did. Actually, it was the vision of Craig Lamb, our former vice president of corporate and continuing education. He birthed the idea, ran it by all of us, and then we were very, very fortunate to find Stephanie. She has done an incredible job with the bistro and growing it. And a group of us was assembled, and we went and visited 3 or 4 different sister community colleges in the area that have a culinary program, not necessarily students with an intellectual disability, but we went and watched and researched and R&D, rip off and duplicate, as we say. We basically, kicked it off to Stephanie, said, this is your baby, let it evolve and help it to grow best you see fit. And like I said, she's taken it and run with it. So very fortunate.
Do you have experience working in the restaurant business?
Maybe a little bit, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. I worked at Logan's Roadhouse for about 18 years.
Oh,
so
nice.
I was running that for a long time. And, I always love food. That's like one of my favorite things.
Me too.
I just love making food, eating food, everything about food.
Right.
One thing I would like Stephanie to talk about is she had incredible restaurant experience, but very little experience on working with adults with intellectual disabilities. And she's a champion for adults with intellectual disabilities. So, and I know that was something at first that was like, well, I know this part of the job, but I don't know necessarily that part. So, Steph,
Yeah.
would you address that piece?
Yeah, that was definitely part when I first started. Is I was the most nervous about. I can cook food and I can create menus and I can do all that. No problem. But it was working with that population. I had some experience. We had a few employees at Logan's that actually came from the SOAR program. I didn't know that until after. But so I had a little bit of experience, but not as far as like my full staff. So. It was definitely a learning experience, but I mean, they give you so much joy and love that it's like, it just comes easy. It's like you just feel so good about even the smallest things and they just make you feel amazing. We have a couple of students that come in and they just every day, hey, Stephanie, how are you? It doesn't matter. You could be having the worst day and they just come in and just put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
So it just kind of happened and it was...
Even as and I always will share this, even as someone who doesn't work there, but if I'm having the worst day, if I go in the bistro, then everybody there is just going to be like, hey, Tabs, and talk to me. And it's just going to always, I'm going to walk away with the biggest smile of this is what I needed today. I just needed to come to Pekin's Bistro and see these people.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going for.
That's a great point. Exactly. That's the vibe we want.
So that's why sometimes they laugh at me that I have it down to a science of it's a 20-minute drive from North Campus to South Campus, 20 minutes to get my food and 20 minutes back. And that's a full lunch break.
That's your lunch break.
That's my lunch break.
How many times a month do you frequent Beacons Bistro?
Payroll deduction. You get payroll deductions at the bistro.
No, this is all in my free time, personal sacrifices. But it's just because the food's good, but it's also because of just the vibes that you get when you go into the bistro that it's just I love seeing these people. They make my day good. But I wanted to talk about the skills that they develop. So what type of job readiness and life skills do the students develop through their work in the bistro?
Yeah, that's awesome. Our students, if you've ever been around them, they're all different. They're all unique and they all have their own special, things that make them special.
Uniquely abled, we call it.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Thank you. So each student is kind of, what they do is kind of catered to what they're good at, what skills that they have. So we have some students that just do well in front of a bunch of people. So they're kind of our behind the scenes people. So they might be the ones that are baking the brownies or making the cookies, or they might be the ones that are bagging up the French fries. So we have them ready to sell whenever, we get an order for one. But then we also have ones they're very outspoken and they don't mind talking to everybody, and then we might put them on the register and they'll learn how to ring people up and even upsell. We had Connor, one of our previous students. He was fantastic at upselling. Hey, you want a cookie? You want a brownie? You want to add this? So he would be constantly doing.
Yes, I do.
You can't say no to that, right? So he was really good at doing that. And we always used to say no one could sell him. Yeah, he would sell out the cookies and brownies almost every day. So that's
not hard to do. Those brownies are legit.
All the food is tremendous.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So other than that, we even have some that have learned the fryer, so they know how to use the fryer, cook the food, check it, make sure the temperature is the right temperatures, and then we also have students that will do the boxing up of the food. So once the chicken tenders are cooked, making sure they put the right number in the box with the French fries and the right sauces. So it's just a variety of skills that they can learn while they're there.
And are these job skills that you see replicated in the fast food industry?
Yeah.
That same type of setup?
Share with them about David.
Yeah, definitely. So we had a previous student, David. He was doing such an amazing job. He could do the fryer. He could do just about every station in there. The fryer, the register, the boxing up of the food, all of it, order taking. And he actually got him a job. Well, he got himself the job. I got him the interview at Logan's. And he's bussing tables there, and he loves it. 2
years?
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it would be probably about 2 years now.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he loves it, and he's up there, and it's he's very social. So it was a great fit for him because in a restaurant, you're constantly around people, not just the people that work there, but the people coming in.
Right.
So that was a great fit for him because he loves to be social.
And that gives exposure. So that shows every customer that comes into Logan's. I know me personally, when I am at a restaurant and I see that restaurant employs someone with an intellectual disability, I always make a point to ask for the manager and talk to the manager and say, hey, I appreciate the fact that your business is employing someone that is uniquely abled. And credit to Logan's for doing that because now there's a pipeline. They know, hey, we've reached out. We've hired someone from the SOAR program. They've been a stellar employee. We have another need. Hey, Stephanie, do you have anybody else that's ready to go? So
yeah,
Because there have been a lot of other students too that kind of have that same success story that you've seen have been hired based off what they've learned in the bistro.
Yeah.
Connor's another one.
Yeah,
So
Connor.
He got hired by Biddy and Bose in Charlotte.
Yep.
And Pita Pit. I think he was working at Pita Pit as well.
Yep. Nick was at the bowling alley.
So it's definitely transferring out, and I think that we'll have even more success, as we get more and more people, because right now a lot of our students that are working in the bistro are current students. So they're currently still in the program, so they're not looking for like full-time work yet, whereas some of these other students that have had that success are already graduated and they're finished. So they're looking for more of that full-time thing. But we also do resume stuff too. That's another thing we do as part of the program. We do like resume building and stuff like that, so we can help them build their resume with the new skills that they're learning.
Mock interviews you do.
We've done some mock interviews too. Yep.
Okay.
So can I ask too, because I'm curious about this, the cohort for Beacon's Bistro, how was that process? Is that something that they have like asked to be in, or is that something that you've noticed like students have certain particular skills?
A little bit of both. So to start with, we kind of handpicked the first cohort that we knew were interested in that and would be willing to go down there, because it's a commitment to be down there every day. You're away from your group of friends that you're with normally, and you're down there for a few hours. But then as we went along, it was students that expressed an interest, or even to the point where we noticed in the classroom that they had a particular skill and said, hey, would you want to consider an opportunity in the bistro? You're showing here on the recipe that we're making in class, you can do this down in the bistro every day, and you can make the brownies, the cookies, and so on and so forth. So it kind of evolved into that. So it's pretty much a collection of, yes, some students self-identify that that's what they want to do, and others we kind of try to gear them in that direction if that's what they express an interest in.
Yeah. And when students leave the program, are they in the program for a certain amount of time?
Yes. So when you enter the SOAR program, you have 2 years.
2 years.
During that time in the SOAR program, if you make a measurable skill gain in the program, you get another 2 years. So you could be a total of 4 years in the SOAR program.
Okay. And when they leave the SOAR program, when they graduate, when they leave Beacon's Bistro, do they have something concrete that they can take with them as like evidence that they've gone
Thanks
through
to
this?
Stephanie and her team, they sure do.
Yeah, they earn a certificate, a ServSafe food handler certificate. So during the classwork time that they put in, they learn all about different food temperatures, germs and bacteria, and the proper way to wash your hands.
Yeah, safety and cleanliness.
Safety, yep, like how to put things in a cooler and how to cook things properly. So they learn all these skills in the classroom, or all this information, and then they take the ServSafe food handler test.
Okay.
So
which is outside of the college?
Well, actually, I can administer it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, but you can, like, if you wanted to take it, you could easily look it up, take the course, and then you could also get your food handler's certificate as well if you wanted one.
Tell them what that consists of, how many questions, and what your pass rate is.
Okay, so it's 40 questions, like I said, ranging from everything from food temperatures to, like how to properly store, how to wash your hands, things like that, which you think is, common sense, but it's really not. Like, there's actually a lot to it. It's a lot of memorization. But right now we have a perfect pass. Everybody that has taken the class has passed. So
wow,
we are really proud of that.
That's cool.
Yeah, very proud of that.
It's really cool that, they have study groups. We've had students get together and that, at night in the evenings, and they'll be on the phone or whatnot, like all studying and practicing when they know the test is coming up. So it's just really cool to see them putting in so much work, because it's something that means a lot to them.
Yeah. And do restaurants, when they're looking to hire, are those ServSafe certificates vital?
Yeah, I mean, you can most definitely put that on your resume. It shows the person that is doing the hiring that you already know these skills, that you're not going to have to teach them, hey, this is how you store something, or this is the proper temperature to cook chicken. Like, you're already going to know that information. So it's kind of just like gives you a leg up to be able to already go in and be ahead of everybody else.
That's cool.
And then the first aid piece that you brought in.
Oh, yeah. Also, we do a first aid. So we do that couple times a year. During the class, the students will do the CPR and the first aid, and then at the end of it, they'll receive their American Heart Association cards that they can have and keep with them. And we're actually getting together the next class now. Mandy and I were just talking about that, and the students enjoy that too because they get to learn. So Mandy Thacker, she is the
SOAR lead instructor at the South Campus, and then Bridget Henderson is the SOAR lead instructor at the North Campus.
Okay, nice. And they're pretty vital with helping guide students towards this
Oh, yeah,
pivotal,
definitely.
huge roles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Team effort.
Team effort, totally.
yeah.
Yes.
So Beacon's Bistro has been at South Campus for 3 years now.
Yeah, just about.
It's expanding to North Campus.
Yes.
Which I don't think you're going to find two bigger cheerleaders for that than Tabs and I.
We'll be taking daily breakfast, lunch, and second lunch
You won't
walks
be able to
down
make
there.
that 20-minute drive to South anymore. We're bringing it to you.
I actually just told them today, I was like, don't worry. I was like, I will still be up at South Campus occasionally. I was like, and I will always come and see the South Campus Bistro still. So
Yes.
I'll be at both equally.
So what are y'all hoping to see out of this expansion at North Campus?
We're hoping to bring the same thing that we have there up here. So it seems to really just bring everyone together. So, the Bistro gives our SOAR students the opportunity to learn skills needed to go out in the community, but it also helps the curriculum students and anyone on campus have that place where they can come to get food and have great conversations with our SOAR students. I mean, in the student center now, it's packed. I don't know, if you've never been down there during lunchtime, there's
No seats.
right, no seats.
That's awesome.
And it's, a little bit of everybody. It's like all different people from all different parts of the college, staff, BLET, our students, the SOAR students. I mean, it's just curriculum students. We even have early college too. So, I mean, it's just a little bit of everybody down there, just all mingled together. So it's a pretty cool thing to see.
Yeah, a lot of natural dividers disappear when there's food involved.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It brings everybody together.
That's awesome.
And the SOAR students, they don't allow barriers. They don't see barriers, and they don't like when barriers are put up. So if there's anybody that's going to break that stigma, leave it to the SOAR program.
Oh, I love it. Ever since we lost food service up here at North Campus, ever since we've seen the success of Beacon's Bistro at South Campus and tasted the food, it's like, man, really would love to see this migrate up to North Campus and Salisbury as well. So you're not going to have to go push a cart around campus to spread the word. I think most people know about it
The smell will draw. Aroma.
Can we put it into the the HVAC into the vent system?
You can
Talk to
still
Ben
bring a
about that.
cart to the marketing suite, though. We will not complain about that.
Nice.
So when we're practicing, you say, just go ahead and bring
Yeah.
the food up here?
Yes,
Quality
of course,
control.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know one thing from a student services perspective that we've always tried to keep in mind is pricing on food and affordable food options for our students here, of not just junk food too, but just nutritional food, and an option where they don't have to leave campus. Some students, they don't have the option to drive across town and grab food. So having something on campus where students can come take their classes, get a warm meal, they can find everything that they really need here on campus. So what is Beacon's Bistro's approach to providing quality and affordable food options for students?
Right. On South Campus, the only other food you have as an option is the vending machines. And I mean, at some point you eventually get tired of vending machines and those prices just seem to be going up anyway. So, you get some chips or a candy bar, but that's not good. At the Bistro, we always, from the beginning, wanted our prices to be low so that we could meet the needs of the students, because those are, the number one customers. That's who we want. That's who we're going for, is giving them their options. And, most students are on a budget, so they are worried, they have to think about, hey, how much do I have for lunch? Can I afford this? So we try really hard because we don't have to worry about some factors that other places do. So we're able to keep our prices pretty low. So you can generally go in there and you can get a cheeseburger, fries, and a drink for less than $10. So, it's a pretty good price. I mean, I think at McDonald's it's $10 to, get a burger, fries, and a drink. And ours are way better.
And the point that you don't have to leave campus.
Right.
A lot of times students have 30 to 45 minutes in between a class. Right. Even if you go, having worked on a North Campus, everybody knows if you go to Arby's between 11 and 1, good luck.
Yeah.
So there's no chance you're going to be back in a half an hour if you go during that time frame. So now students don't have to leave and worry about, oh my gosh, what's the line going to be like across the street today?
Yeah.
They know they can come right down, and instead of putting a $5 bill in and getting a can of Pringles and a drink, you can get yourself a nice meal to get you through the rest of your day here.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a huge need for that type of service on campus. But I remember when I was in community college, we had an awesome grill, and I was on campus 3 days a week, and I'm pretty sure I got a double cheeseburger on campus. And the way they did those cheeseburgers on that griddle, it was so good. So yeah, it can be done really well, and it has been done really well at South Campus. So I'm excited to see it come up to North.
Yeah.
Well, and along the lines of food, the great food that we serve, Stephanie and I have talked, and when we have the bistro open up here at North, we're going to honor our former colleague, Brunson Lawrence, by having a Brunson burger so that we can keep his memory and his legacy going here with all of us at Rowan-Cabarrus Community College.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Brunson ran our Beacon's Nest for a long time, and he was well loved around the
big advocate for our SOAR program students.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So that's
a
awesome.
great idea. That's a great way to honor him through a burger. So.
Yeah, he would love that. So we're going to make it big and sloppy, right, Steph?
Yeah. I feel like y'all have already started working up what it's going to look like.
Yes,
That's
details
awesome.
to come. We don't have
That's
it
exactly
fully
right.
figured out yet,
Look
but
forward to
it's
that.
in the works.
I love it.
It's great.
So one thing that I've also noticed, and maybe you can confirm this, but we've had a couple special events around the college, and I've seen the bistro has had a part in the food provided during those. So you all do a lot of catering?
Yeah, we do some. I feel like, it's getting more and more as people know that it's a possibility. We've done everything from, we've helped student life out with making breakfast sandwiches. We have done box lunches for Trio. I've had people come to me and say, hey, I have a big meeting. I buy some desserts from you to have out for my meeting? Yeah, we do a little bit of everything. So if you have any type of need, even if it's not something that's on our menu, we can still do something like that. So.
And we got to be pretty good for the president to ask us to do her party every year.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Spalding.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Spalding.
Yes.
Yes, we do the
That's a good
desserts
point.
a lot of the times for her holiday party.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that you guys did catering and stuff until I was a student. We were talking about doing Spring Fling, and I was at South Campus, and we were talking about food trucks, where to cater, stuff like that. And we was we have the bistro, and somebody was why don't we ask the bistro if they can just be open during Spring Fling and cater for us? And so that was how I really figured out I never would have thought about the bistro catering and making food for an event, but that's something. Yeah. And so then you guys were open for our Spring Fling, and I thought that was cool.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, we definitely did the Spring Fling that one year, and then we also do the SOAR prom. We've done that too. So if anybody comes to the SOAR prom, we've done that in the past where we feed everybody, which we have different menu items sometimes too when we're doing these events like that.
How would somebody get in touch with you if they wanted to have an event catered?
Yeah, you could just email me. My email is stephanie.dunlap@rccc.edu, and you could just send me an email and we can work something out.
Okay, nice. Well, this has been a really good conversation. Like I said, Tabs and I are very excited about the bistro coming to North Campus. Do you all have a tentative date that you're looking to open?
Early March.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
awesome. Well, we'll be there.
We look forward to it.
Yeah, we're really excited to be up here on North.
But in the meantime, there is the bistro out South Campus that you can still visit.
20-minute drive.
20-minute drive. If you go, tell them Tab sent you and order the crispy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
So, well, if you are interested or want to know more about the SOAR program, you can visit www.rccc.edu/SOAR. That's SOAR. We'd love to have you back to have a full podcast just on the SOAR program. I think we could dive into that a lot.
Talk to Mandy
more.
and Bridget about it. They would definitely be up for that.
All right, well, let's put that on the docket because I know it's a great program. I know it provides a ton of community resources for individuals and families and provides a ton of benefit for students that go through those programs, not just on the food side, but other life skills and practical skills that they're learning through this program. So yeah, we'll dive into that a little bit more. But in the meantime, you can visit that website and learn more about the SOAR program. If you would like to visit the bistro yourself, our locations are at North Campus in Salisbury and building N105 in the Student Center. And at South Campus, we're in building S203 in the Student Center. And if you'd like to just know more about it, know the hours of operation, or review the menu, you can visit www.rccc.edu/bistro.
And be sure to follow Rowan-Cabarrus on social media for updates about when the Bistro will be opening on North Campus and for specials that will be happening at both Bistros. My favorite special is when they bring the cheese quesadilla.
Yum.
Yep, that's a good one.
I drove up like 3 times in 1 week just for that.
It's a secret menu.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a secret menu.
All right, let's move on.
Good to know. Secret menu. Well, thank both of y'all for being on today and talking to us a little bit more about what's coming up at North Campus. So enjoyed it.
The opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you guys.
Let's eat.
All right. Thanks for listening to Trail Mix. For more stories, updates, and to learn more about how Rowan-Cabarrus Community College can help you navigate forward, visit us at www.rccc.edu.